The difference between somebody who grows their business at X level and X times 10 is not intellectual capital. It's messaging, marketing, being uncomfortable. It's about getting yourself out there, committing to failing, some rejection, all that, and you can't get caught up in that.
Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether it's Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode.
So here's what we're going to do today. I've got 20 strategies. So what I'd like to do is just go over the 20 strategies in whatever order I have them in. We'll do Q&A at the end. But with that said, it is top of the hour, so let's get started. So I see some new faces. I see some old faces. I see some old familiar faces, which is really cool. So I'm glad that you're all here and taking some time out of your, hopefully for a lot of you, still a little bit of a sabbatical time. I am still on my sabbatical actually, but I figure, you know what, let's get off to 2024 is going to be a very important year. So let's just make sure we all get off to a great start this year, okay? Shockingly, I have notes today because there's 20 things. I don't want to forget any of them. So I actually wrote them down in Evernote over the holiday, and I want to get it going. So let's get started with basically strategy number one, okay? Bottom line is 2023 is in the books. Good, bad, indifferent. You got to close the door on that. Whatever done last year, and again, you're coming into 2024 one of three places. You had a great 2023, and you're stressing over how the hell am I going to do this again? You had an okay 2023. Where am I going to elevate? Or I had a real crappy 2023. Is it really time to blow it up and start all over again? So it's like a spectrum, right? So either I rocked it out, I sucked, somewhere in the middle, it doesn't matter, it's over, okay? So the one thing I know for sure is that whenever you get started in a new year, there's anticipation and anxiety. You anticipate the game, but you have anxiety over how am I going to either get better, do it again, elevate what I'm doing, so on and so forth. So I think the first thing is, hey, 23 is in the book. So if you've done our process, then you've done your benchmarks. You know what you need to scrape into the new year. You know what you need to leave behind in the new year. So shut it off. It's done. Fresh start. I'll equate it to sports. New season, new year. Everybody here is undefeated as of today. Okay, we really want to make sure we have that locked down. All right, that's strategy number one. Strategy number two, 2024 is going to be a separation year for a lot of different reasons. number one, the main reason is that we are going to have a lot of noise in our environment. In the United States, it's the presidential election. So it is just going to be one of those things where it's going to be easy to get distracted. It's going to get really easy to get caught up. So a couple things you've got to really get clear on. Number one is how are you planning to approach this year personally? But the second item is how are you going to start pre-framing your clients to avoid the noise? Because you know you're going to get it. So why not just plan for it now, right? And it's going to ramp up as we go through the year. So I truly believe that 80% of our industry is going to be basically distracted, asleep at the wheel, caught up with things. And so you can just be one of those 20% to execute. And the best example I could give, which is probably, in my mind, the most intense situation, actually even more intense than COVID. I'll go back to October, November, December, January, February of 2008, 2009. That 5-month window where our world, if you were around at the time, literally looked like it was all going to come crashing down on us. And I noticed two things. I would say 80% of our industry was sucked up in the vortex of things they could not control, and 20% were focused on serving their clients, serving those people that needed help, and maintained their game, and they thrived. Now, they were packing on assets at a very steep discount. We all know that. But I'll tell you, once that market comes back, and all of a sudden you get your money line run and you see a 20, 30, 40% increase like that, it's there. So I'm just telling you guys now in advance, declare to yourself how you're going to play this year. It's going to be, we're going to have headwinds. I think it's going to be one of the most opportunistic years you're ever going to have because of boomer retirements, advisor retirements, people selling their businesses, liquidity events, so on. So, we're going to be a wash of opportunity. We're also going to be a wash of distraction. So it's like two sides of the coin, right? So you've got to get really clear on what side you want to be on and just declare that, put that in your morning ritual, put that in your Magellan Power Hour. Hey, I'm not going to get distracted today. I'm going to focus on things that are important. And like I've done, eliminate things that do not serve you, which we'll get into a little bit. That's number two. Number three. Most of you, I do believe, are part of our vision process. This is the week you want to bring that sucker home and have your period game plan ready to go. And if you have not started it, it's never too late to get started. We will have a link in the replay because this will be available via replay. If you want to access our planning tools, make sure you have the link for that going forward. But do not go into this year trying to figure it out or making it up as you go along. Terrible idea. Nothing good comes from it. And you're going to do okay. It just won't be great. So just don't do that, okay? So make sure you get it all done, including the quarterlies, the period plans, daily game plans. Everything's done, locked in, finished, okay? 4, uncomfortableness. The one thing I've learned in the last 5 years, if you want to be super successful, you got to be willing to get super uncomfortable to be super successful. Just like if you want to be super fit and super healthy, there's no free lunch there. You're going to have to put the work in, break the sweat, be uncomfortable. This game is no different than that. You've got to really make sure that you're focused on that and challenge yourself. When I say be uncomfortable for the year, let me be very clear. I'm not saying be uncomfortable 365 days because nobody can do that, okay? That's the overtraining. But what you can do is make sure that you have your strategic calendar figured out. You know where you're going to bring your game. You know where you're going to get away from the game. Bring your game, get away from the game. But when you're in the game, we're going to play full out, right? Really, really important. So be committed to an uncomfortable process. I tell myself, I'm comfortable, I'm not growing as fast. And, I was thinking about this when I was on my cruise. I think a lot of us in this game, because think about the psychology coming into this. Oh, once I make X amount of dollars, I'll be comfortable. Once I get my income to X, I'll be comfortable. That's what you tell you start when you start this game. And then you get there and you realize that, well, it's not that number. It's way more than that. But I think we're always striving to be comfortable. I think that's just a human nature piece. And I think it really sabotages a lot of our success. So I want you to have joy and freedom and happiness and all those things, fulfillment. But you got to pay that. There's a piper. There's a tax you've got to pay to achieve those things. It's called being uncomfortable. Okay. Next strategy. Very practical. All of us have a strategy, a habit, something that does not serve us. Maybe it's staying up late at night. Maybe it's getting up late during the day. Maybe it's what you consume social media wise. Maybe it's what you put in your body. But we all have the one thing. I'd want you to focus on that one thing and make a commitment to it. Just one. I'm asking you to give me the list. Pick one thing that you know that does not serve you, that actually is holding you back, right, in your progress, and eliminate that, right? Just say, you know what? I'm going to eliminate this. It could be a who. It could be some of your social media friends. It could be the apps on your phone. I don't know what it is for you, right? But whatever it is that you know is holding you back, make a commitment to eliminate that. Counterpart. What's one thing that you know you need to do more of or more consistently at a higher level? One thing. So January's fun. Everybody's excited. Everybody's committed. Here's the problem. We try to get it all done in 30 days and we burn out, like we get frustrated. Pick one thing, solve it, move on to the next one. Do not have 5 initiatives or 10 initiatives going. I almost fell into that trap this year. When I was doing my plan, I had 5 major initiatives. And as I sat there and stressed out about all 5, I realized not a good deal. So I've now sequenced them. Here's the first one we're going to do. Here's the second one we're going to do. Here's the third one we're going to do. And you get those in sequence, right? So don't overwhelm yourself with change because you'll motivate it and you'll out effort it for about 30 days, as most human beings do. It's called New Year's resolutions. By Feb 1, they're gone. So it's almost like, hey, I'm going to run a marathon and I really carbo loaded a lot. I got a ton of energy. I'm just going to fly out of the first couple of miles. You're going to gas yourself somewhere in the journey. So don't do it. Okay, just don't. So be very, very precise. One thing to solve, one thing to eliminate, one thing to add or expand. Okay? Next, standards, energy. As I said, this is a separation year. So I will tell you right now, you'll have more intense conversations with your clients. You'll have to keep your teams focused on what they need to do. So I'm just going to say this up front. Your energy demands are going to be at its greatest in this upcoming year, 2024. So do not, if you are not resourceful, because you do not have physical, mental, and emotional energy to be resourceful, you will leave a lot of opportunities on the table. Bottom line, also, you will not do a great job for your clients. Because remember, what is influence? It's about who's going to win the conversational battle. And whoever has got more energy, more congruent will win. And I'll tell you, from the coach side, the advisor side, the easiest thing you could do is capitulate a conversation. Requires no energy. You know what? You're right. Once you think about it, we'll talk about it later, right? Do not do that. So make a commitment to have, even if you're in great shape and you have a lot of energy, there's always another piece of that. There's always another level. Bring it. You're going to need it. Okay. Next, identity. So the person you are, the person you ended up in 2023 cannot be the person who ends up in 2024, December 31st. So be very clear on the person you are today and who you need to become. It's all about identity. We cover that, and by the way, in our vision process. When I look at the strides I've made the last 5 years, it's all identity focused. Blowing up the old version of me, recreating it. Some of you were around for that old version, as a matter of fact. And it's a different version today, different standards. Okay? So this is not about, you can put look, and this is fine. You can put a lot of energy into practice management and organization and digital marketing, all those things, but you don't change who you are, it will not matter. You do slightly better, you will never achieve what you want. It's all about identity in this business. Okay. So remember that. Each of you here, and I know a lot of you personally, you are the core product in your marketplace. It is not your planning process, your tax planning process, your asset allocation, but any of that. It is you. They either buy you or they don't, the market. Okay? So you have to be the best version of you. You've got to be constantly looking at that, right? So identity. So where does that work get done, by the way? Strategic time, Magellan Power Hour. That is where the glue of the game is, okay? Next strategy, personal development budget. Somebody asked me this a couple weeks ago. Actually, it was a little text thread. Joe, is there such a thing as investing too much in yourself? I thought about that for a second. The answer is no. It should be 5 to 10% of top line. Okay. So if you're doing 100K, it should be 5 to 10,000. If you're doing a million, it should be 50 to 100K. I'll invest well over 100K myself this year. I know all the clients that will do that too, right? You will get the best return on it. Forget Bitcoin, Tesla, Facebook, Nvidia, all that. You will get the best return on a dollar by investing in yourself, because that will pay dividends for the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. Okay, dollar in. So I'm not saying don't save for your retirement. Hopefully you're never going to retire, but don't shortchange your personal professional development. And I'm not saying you have to invest it here. Figure out what you need. Some of you need a personal trainer. That ain't me. Some of you need a nutritionist. That's not me. By the looks of some of you need a stylist. That's definitely not me. Okay. Like, you got to do what you need to invest. So 5 to 10% of top line. Figure out who needs to be on your team, what resources you need, what experts you need, what who's you need, and go seek those people out. Okay, critically important. All right. Next, first hour of the day. Period. You cannot own the first hour of your day. I don't know if anybody can help you. That is a key fundamental thing. Own the hour, own the day, own the year. Period. And I hear a lot of this. I'm not a morning person. I can't get up. I've got small kids. I've got this. And I understand all that. And there's always a workaround. Okay. Does it have to be a solid hour? No. 20 minutes, get the kids up for school, come back, do the other 4. I'm fine with that. Okay. To me, the hour has to get done before you launch into your day. So if you're launching in your day, let's say 8 o'clock, and you're up at 5:30, from 5:30 to 8 o'clock, you need 60 minutes for you. Ideally, it's contiguous. But if you have to break it up, I'm fine with that too. I'd rather you do that than not do anything else. Okay? So make a commitment immutable. We do not lose the first hour of the day. Okay? And I laid out our new protocols in Magellan Power Hour. We have all those things, so it's right there. Own it. Just commit to it. There's a book written by a Navy admiral about making your bed in the morning. The simplest win of the day, you get organized for your day, you make your bed. In our game, own the first hour of the day, you're going to own the day. 9 out of 10 times. It's just one of those immutable laws. Don't diminish that like it's not a big thing. The morning ritual is the glue to the whole game on a daily basis. It absolutely is. Okay. Next, speaking of glue, for those who are in Vision this year, live or virtual, doesn't matter. We talked about strategic calendar. The strategic calendar is where this all happens for you. I remember I kind of built this bucket. Remember that? For those who were there, your strategic calendar is where the game is played. It's how you implement. It's understanding your days, making that happen. So you constantly be refining your strategic calendar. A minimum standard to me is 12 months out. I've committed this year to push mine out for 24. Okay. Can I change things? Of course, I can. It's not like it's in cement. You can never change it. But we know what we have an intent on what we're going to do. Okay. So make sure before now, to me, a real quick sidebar. Our game does not start to the 8th, next Monday. So, less than a week from today. So you have time this week to get your plan done, get your strategic calendar locked in. Like, do not go into Monday, oh, I didn't get this done yet. Make sure it's all locked in, ready to go. Critically important. Okay. I don't know if it's launched yet. It will be probably this week. We took the segment out of Vision about strategic calendar, and we made it its own separate masterclass. So all of you will have access to that, right? So if you're like, well, how do we do this? How does this work? Masterclass, if it's not already, if it's not out today, it'll be out in the next 24 hours. Because I know the work's basically done on that. Okay, just be aware of that. Next strategy. This is every year, but this, I think, upcoming year is critically important. The old saying, you are what you eat. Well, what you put in your brain is who you're going to become. So you've got to guard this space. Like, do not let anything squat here. Nothing bad, nothing negative, nothing that's going to distract you. Okay. And I'm telling you, that's why I'm calling 2024 a separation year, because most individuals in this game are going to be distracted. It's a great opportunity for us who are not distracted. Okay. but you have got to be a bouncer to your brain. Do not let anybody unsavory in and squat in that space. Okay. Now, what does that mean practically from a practicality standpoint? If some of you like news apps, don't have news apps on your phone. Delete Facebook. Like you on Facebook, just go log on. When I look at my phone, like I did this 4 years ago. I took every news app and social media app off. The only one I did put back in, and I will share this with you because I did, is LinkedIn. I did put LinkedIn back on, just because I'm running campaigns there and I want to know what's going on when I need to know. Okay. I've got no news apps. I've got LinkedIn, Magellan Network. That's it. Okay. Do not make it easy for bad stuff to find you. And I'm not going to ask anybody to hold up their phone right now. But if I got a bunch of news apps and a bunch of social media apps, I know you're distracted, especially if you have notifications on. Okay. None of that stuff will make you money this year. It's just a distraction. Okay. So be very clear on that. Next, this is about identity, but it's a separate piece. Commit to being a leader, teacher, and coach to your clients. They're going to really need you this year. There's going to be a lot of noise, right? And you just have to be prepared for that. And this is not about throwing them another pie chart or another historical thing about the markets. Like, people are going to have fears, they have uncertainty. And again, I don't care your political taste one way that's irrelevant. People are going to be sideways. And you've got to be prepared for that. Okay. One of the things I think I'm almost mention this on Friday or tomorrow. I'm not sure where I record. I know I recorded it, but I'm going to make mention here because I think it's really important. I would recommend all of you start talking to your clients and just saying, hey, we have a presidential election. Let's talk about what we might see. Let's talk about the noise. Let's talk about how we're going to approach the noise. Let's talk about, pre-framing now, and the old saying, an ounce of prevention. This is a great opportunity for you to put your coaching, teaching, training hat on and get in front of something. Like I'm getting in front of you guys today, right? Hey, we're going to have a messy year. We'll have a tremendous year opportunity-wise. We have a lot of distractions. Like I'm setting the frame now for you guys, right? So when it shows up, I can go, hey, remember in January when we talked about this? Well, this is now happening. What is your strategy? Okay? Get in front of your clients now. Pre-train them. Start talking about things. Talk about the noise. Talk about the volatility. Talk about whatever it is that's going to show up, right? Get in front of it. So not negative, by the way. Planning for a hurricane, Jennifer and I live in places where hurricanes do happen. Planning for a hurricane is not negative thinking. It's called preparation, okay? And you got to be prepared. That's what the bottom line is, right? So make sure you do that. Really, really critically important. Also, from a business development standpoint, we all know the data, right? We're talking about the boomer retirement bell curve, right? Well, we're kind of on that cusp now. We're kind of getting there, right? No better year than this year, especially with 80% of your competitors that's distracted. Make sure you ramp up your messaging, whatever you're doing from a messaging standpoint, newsletters, social media. Make sure that you're super aggressive this year in getting the word out. Your client events, your quarterly Zoom trainings, things like that, whatever you're doing, make sure that you're going to be really aggressive with that this year. I mean, I just think this is the year we're going to lean into stuff. This is the year you want to really lean into stuff. I just think it's going to be there for everybody, right? So you want to make sure that's happening, right? So communicating, make sure that's happening going forward. Speaking of which, no such thing as over communicating to clients in the market, your marketplace. No such thing, okay? Somebody asked me, Joe, if I do a video once a week, is that too much? I go, I don't know. If they're on Instagram, they see the same person sending 10 videos a day. You tell me if that's too much, right? So I think sometimes there's this sensitivity that, oh man, I don't want to be adding too much in there. Like it's too late, man. The horse has left the barn on that. So whatever you think over communication is, double it. And you're probably still going to be okay. All right. And I don't need a bunch of long form, a short little email, quick bomb video or Loom video. I don't need anything massive, but I need you in front of your people. Okay. Really, really important. One of the secrets to our success here in Magellan Network is basically our cadence. There's not a single day in a year goes by we're dark. We send stuff out on Christmas, New Year's. It's me, it's curated. Like I'm in front of all you guys every day. Why? Not that I expect you guys to watch it every day, because that's utopian for me. It's not going to happen. I realize that. Nobody can ever sit there and say, well, I just don't hear from you. Like, dude, you hear from me every day, right? So I'm not saying you have to do that with your clients every day because that may be overkill. So I'm not recommending that. But once or twice a week to hear from you, I don't think is overkill. Either you're going to have to fix your clients who listen to other people, other places, other things, or you be in front of it and let them listen to you. So you could wait for them to watch something on CNBC or wherever else they happen to find stuff in the universe. How many times does a client come to you with some crazy ass idea? And you wonder, where the hell did they get that crazy ass idea from? Well, it didn't manifest itself out of thin air. They got it from somewhere. Okay. And then you got to try to fix it now, right? Unwind it, reframe it, deframe it. Just don't let it get there in the first place. Hell of a lot easier, right? So make sure you're communicating, be in a position of influence. By the way, we'll talk about COIs in a little bit. This is the year of communication, coaching, collaboration, training. If you want a theme this year for 24, that's your theme. Really, really lean into that a lot. Okay. Next.
Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode.
Balance sheet. So let's talk optimization. So let's get into some tactics real quick. I've talked about this till I'm blue in the face, but I'm not blue today, so we're going to do it one more time. All of you have got to commit to having a minimum balance sheet network statement from your clients. I don't care if you do it on an Excel file. I don't care if you use we like Asset Map here. We think it's a really good software program. It's cool, it's pretty. You can do it as part of your financial planning process. I don't care where it gets done. There should never be a client that a balance sheet is more than 12 months old. Updated. It's a minimum standard. It'll make you a lot of money. It's not that complicated. Some of your clients are not into financial planning. You can't force it, even though personally I think it's extremely valuable and I think you'd be crazy not to do it. That's not for everybody. But for your sake, you got to know where the money is. This came into my world a couple days ago. I forget the numbers. So you guys probably way know more about this than I do. But we are also, by the way, on the cusp of one of the greatest wealth transfers in history. People are dying. Children are getting it. So you could have somebody that has like their balance sheet's no big deal. Mom passes, and all of a sudden there's $2 million that was not there 12 months ago. And you don't see what's going to come your way. So really make sure that you understand your balance sheets and make sure there's again, standards 12 months. Don't go any past that. Additionally, by the way, I'm going to add a 21st one now. I just thought of it. The ideal scenario is every one of you is multi-generational with your clients. Multi-generational, my perfect world, if I had to build an advisory practice from scratch, what would I want? I'd want a multi-generational advisor. I'd want a senior advisor. I'd want a boomer advisor, maybe a Gen Z advisor. I'd want to have the grandparents, parents, and the grandchildren covered all the way through. My perfect world, right? So point I'm making at is that, here's what our industry does. And there's 2 problems with. First of all, I think it's distasteful. Second thing, it's just not effective. When do most advisors worry about wealth transference? When the last parent's in the box. And then they start really, let's go together with the kids and stuff like that. And I use the word box, that just is what I use. First off, the children are mourning loss of a parent, trying to figure out how to deal with their money. It just doesn't feel good in my mind. Get there early. Find out who the children are today. Try to build a relationship with them today, not when you're chasing something down the road. Okay? One of the biggest things. If you have a next gen, so some of you I know because I know your businesses, like Craig's got a next gen. I know Jennifer, I think you have your son coming in next gen. Focus them on kids, your clients' kids. That's the play there, 110%. We have that going on in a couple other places. Works really well. Most children will not deal with mom and dad's advisor, but they'll deal with mom advisors in the same firm. gives enough differential, but yet enough continuity. It's a really good place to be. And we've seen that work very effectively the last couple of years with some clients who have really done a great job with that. That is a great strategy. So that's the 21st, the bonus one. Okay, next, referrals. I will not flog the horse because I will do that on the 26th when we have our marketing biz dev, training. But let me just say this, and I'm going to be very blunt on this. Every one of your clients knows 5 people that are going to retire in the next 24 months or sell a business. Period. Let me repeat that. Every one of your clients knows at least 5 people who are going to retire or sell a business in the next 24 months. Okay. Now you can go spend $3,000 or $5,000 on a smart asset if you like, or Agora, or there's probably 15 companies that'll be happy to take your money today and solve your marketing problem, or supposedly solve it. Or you can just get the word out that you're open for biz and that you're a resource, and you do your happy hours that we talked about. You do your Zoom trainings like this that we talked about, right? Once a quarter. You start building your tribe. That's what you start doing. Okay. It is not as sexy as something like stroking a check and getting magical stuff show up in the inbox with leads, right? But I will tell you right now, it's way more effective. It's not sexy, but it will get the job done for you. Okay. We talk about making this an uncomfortable year. For a lot of you, the vehicle to really get that uncomfortableness needs to be your referral and introduction game. Okay. And I'm not asking you to sit there and pound people for names or anything like that. It's just saying, and everybody knows the strategy. There's no news here. Hey, thanks for coming in today, or thanks for checking in, or thanks for spending some time. By the way, if you ever know somebody's getting ready to retire, sell a business the next couple of years, we'd love to be a resource for that person. Please keep us in mind. That is it. Simple, 15 seconds. Get that out of your mouth as much as possible. Nothing sexy about that. It just works, right? There's nothing sexy about push-ups or sit-ups or treadmills or bikes, but it gets the work done, okay? Think about it this way. Using one of these services, again, Agora, Ramsey, Smart Assets, it's like going to the doctor for liposuction and you don't want to hit the gym. Yeah, work a little bit, short term, not a lot of energy effort. It's going to suck and be very expensive and won't last, okay? Do the work, okay? Next, COIs. Now, it's been interesting because we think COIs in a very what I call almost like linear concept, right? CPAs and attorneys. We're going to talk about that on 26 in depth, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because again, I want to make sure we do Q&A. But I will say this. COIs, CPAs, attorneys, and depending on your market, again, some of you have very unique markets. Executive coaches, business coaches, relocation experts. There are a lot of different places to go play. I mean, I can tell you stories upon stories, and on the 26th I will. But real quick, like if you're playing the executive marketplace, you want to make friends with all the top executive coaches that you can. If you're playing with business owner entrepreneurs, you want to go find out who the top business coaches are in those spaces that you can have access to. I mean, don't overthink it, right? They're just, I've got a client, she deals with women in transition. Her top referral source is actually a consultant families hire to vet assisted care facilities. There are people that are assisted living consultants who families hire to help vet different places. Because you go to one, they want to sell you on their deal, right? How do you know which one? So my point is think externally, right? I know, for example, basically Warren's here. Warren's my neighbor up the coast. He does a lot of work with space, aerospace companies. I know there's executive coaches in there that deal with engineers and stuff like that. There just is, because there's executive coaches that deal with everything, right? You got to know who else is influencing your ideal client / prospect, and see if you can create some sort of alliance. It doesn't have to be an economic alliance, but you want to have those resources, right? One of my strengths when I have a client, I can deploy resources from other coaches to marketing consultants to LinkedIn experts to we're actually going to introduce you guys probably either end of this month or next month to an EOS expert who's been working with my clients privately for a year now, and she's a rock star, right? And we're going to create something, a little more of a group game on that. Again, build your Rolodex with COIs. 2 other things. your teams. Demand more. Raise your standards. We have, if you're a core member, we have a leadership masterclass that we recorded live 2 years ago in Las Vegas. There's, I think, 27 different benchmarks on leadership. It is not EOS. So it's not about how to do run meetings like that. It's psychology of leadership. It's about probably 8 hours, all said and done. If you're a core member, you have access to it. I'd highly recommend it. Remember, your teams, let's be very clear. We're talking today about how you guys are going to be influenced by everything in 2024. If you've got teams, they're humans. They're going to get influenced too. They have the same thing. I mean, if I can have, some of you would probably love to do this. Go on to, ban everybody's Facebook off their phones while they're in the office. Wouldn't that be neat? Right? But lead better. Raise the standards. How you hold your meetings. What you discuss. I think it's really, really critically important, right? And I don't care if you have a 5 or 10 person team on site or you have one virtual person that's part time. I don't care. Make sure that you are leading your team the best way possible. Okay. Last thing. Then we'll open up for questions. Again, I want to keep the time. The difference between somebody who grows their business at X level and X times 10 is not intellectual capital. It's messaging, marketing, being uncomfortable. It's about getting yourself out there, committing to failing, some rejection, all that, and you can't get caught up in that. Okay? I will say this right now, and I'm going to give you a different version of this. I used to do this a little bit differently, but times have changed. So back in 1996, and I can remember that, by the way, I was in a Morgan Stanley office. Actually, no, I take that back. I was in a Morgan Stanley rookie training class. It was not just office. And I just remember the thing I was brought in to do a talk about success, and I said yes, because why not? So I remember, some of you were older remember, this is in Manhattan now. This is actually in World Trade Center, right there, the old building. And I was walking into the conference room, I think it was like 15 or 20 baby brokers, as we'd call them back then. And I just happened to see the Manhattan White Pages. Does anybody have any idea how thick that book is? Manhattan White Page is probably about 3.5, 4 inches thick. You can kill a human being with it if you swung it, probably about 20, 30 pounds. And so I remember I grabbed this. It was just the spur of the moment way I operate. So I just grabbed it off somebody's desk. They were probably using it. Grabbed it off the desk on the way in the conference room. And I said, look, I'm going to give you guys one strategy today to make you $1 million producer. Only one strategy. It's the only strategy you ever need. And I took the book and I flung it, and it crashed on the conference table. I said, simple math. Call every person here. See if you can help them. Who's game? You start with the A's and you end up with the Z's. I think it was a couple million names in there probably at the time. Now, why am I saying that? Because I truly believe that if you were to take every contact on LinkedIn, every Facebook friend, every Twitter mate or X mate, whatever the hell it's called today, and if you were to send them a simple message along the lines of, hey, this is what I do. If I can ever help you, please consider me a resource. If I can ever help someone that you know, please consider me a resource. And if you were to send that message out a couple thousand times, let's say you do that once a quarter, good things are going to happen. They just will. But we tend to want to overthink things, right? We just do. So the difference between a Ken Fisher and a Rick Edelman and a Ron Carson and is not that they have some secret portfolio sauce or they're better planners or asset managers. I've seen Fisher's what Fisher's really good at? Marketing. That's it. I've seen his portfolios. I've had clients we win against him. But I'll tell you what, you get the little package because I get them. Oh, it's sexy. It makes you want to it wants you to pick that phone. Marketing. Okay. One of the identities you all have got to get and adapt to in 2024 is you are a marketer. Now that may sound a little nasty or like, I don't know if I like that. Hey, that's where the game is. And I'm like, when I say marketer, by the way, I'm not saying I need you all to have TikToks. What I'm saying is let people know you're available. Marketing is this big umbrella. A lot of people go right into social media. Oh, I got to use, no. Marketing is getting the word out that here's a resource. When you have a referral introduction conversation, that's marketing. You're letting people know what you're doing. Okay? Don't overthink it. Like I said, every client you have is going to know 5 people that are going to retire, sell a business, or have some liquidity event in the next 5 years. Excuse me, 2 years. 5. If you have 100 households, that means there's 500 opportunities right now that you've accrued, but not have turned into something real yet. Don't overthink this. This has got to be the year of the referral, the year of the introduction, the year of getting the word out. Period. Okay. A couple of things real quick, and then we'll take some questions. Some announcements. I want to say that. So I'm dangerous when I've got downtime because my brain kind of unclears and I get to, especially I'm at sea a couple of weeks ago when all the storms were happening. We're basically shipbound for a week. So a couple of things. We'll have some new programs coming out inside Magellan Network, some new offers, so just be aware of that. One of the things I've come to a real conclusion on after looking at everything is you can't be half in our program. So we're going to create a membership package. You get business planning, you get the core program, you get the S, you get the 10X program, you get everything. Like that's it. We want you to be all in with us because that's the best value we provide you. So it's not out today. It will be coming out. So you'll be offers on that. The second thing, we do have some slots in some mastermind groups virtually. Some of you, and I can't get into who because it wouldn't be fair to everybody. I am starting a brand new group, Empire 10X. And so some of you actually who are here today are getting invitations to that. So watch for that, and that'll be a nice conversation for us to be having. I swore I was not going to build another group, but I realized there's a gap between my Empire and that group there, and then my M7, M5, Bravo, and Alpha. There's this space in the middle here that I don't have filled, and so I'm going to create something to fill it. Okay, so like I said, some people getting info on that. It's not for everybody. It's by invitation only, FYI. Last thing, then Q&A. We don't do a lot of marketing here inside Magellan Network because I'd like to focus on the content. So we kind of rely on you guys to get the word out, to invite people into our base. Michael and I, by the way, this will get done this week. You're going to see an all new onboarding process. We've actually created a spreadsheet with links sequentially what you need to watch on onboarding. So we're going to have a real cadence on everything. So you're not going to have to like, well, what's next? What's next? He and I went through, here's the way. I actually recorded content this morning. I did a brand new 2-hour masterclass on our, which you guys have not seen before. But we have now 12 core values inside Magellan Network. And so I recorded a masterclass on that, which will probably get posted this afternoon or tomorrow. So look for that. Okay. With that said, let's take questions. You can post them in the chat. You can raise your hand. Travis has one, and I don't know if he's still here or not. That's fine. He is. So keep reminding us every morning about referrals. Great way to mindset. So what you're saying is in my daily piece, and so with the Magellan Power daily game plan, let's rock out the referral introduction game today.
I love that, Joe. Yeah, just always like, yeah, I got to do that. I know I need to do it, but having you say it's great. So appreciate that.
Or should I just be nice about it, or should I just beat people up from time to time just to keep it interesting?
Yeah, keep it interesting. How about that?
I love it. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you for that. Who else here has questions? Like I said, this is a little Q&A time before we wrap it up today. Pete Robinson had a question. So yeah, Pete, come live.
Hey, Coach. Hey, everybody. Here with my marketing assistant. I have a question regarding balance sheets. As far as someone you never reached out to in the past to do that, and it seems a little out of the blue. Any kind of advice on framing that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a client, which I assume it is, obviously. So, hey, Pete, just want to let you know, one of the things I always strive to do is always increase the value of what we're doing here and also provide you the best possible advice possible. So one of the new strategies we're deploying is creating a balance sheet for each and every one of our clients. We'll talk about assets and liabilities. By having that balance sheet built, we can then look at how we're investing your capital and how it correlates to the rest of your asset classes. It allows us to do the best job possible, help me help you. There's no charge or fee. I need about 15 minutes to go over it. When can we do it? That's it. Right? Don't ask them, would you like to do it? Or would you be open to it? Like, be the advisor. This is what we're doing. Hey, I walked into my doctor a couple months ago, and he put me on this goddamn contraption I never saw before, and it was like some sonic resonance kind of MP thing to check bone density. I didn't sit there and say, well, hey, I've been coming to you for 5 years. That's new. I don't want to do that, right? He said, we're going to do this. I'll say, I get on it, right? So just give the advice, be a leader, be a coach, tell them this is what we're doing and why we're doing it. Remember, people need a reason. It's called a cause frame. People need a reason to take an action. So in that language, there's the reason. Okay, from there. Okay. All right. Next question. Pete got that. Matt, any way we can get a written list? Yeah, when we get the replay up, we'll cut and paste 21 strategies now in there, so you'll have it. That's a no-brainer, so that'll be good there. Chris, what balance? So asset, we call it asset map. We really like it. A lot of my clients use it. I mean, you don't have to use it if you don't want to. They're one of our partners, so you get a little discount if you want to use it. Economically, we don't get anything for it. It's just a nice visual representation about it's from doing it on a Excel file to having like a Money Guy Pro or eMoney or something like that. It's kind of this middle spot where it's nice, it's dynamic, you can update it, they can see it, you can see it. There's very few software programs I think will make you money in this business. That's one of them. If you commit to doing an asset map or balance sheet on all your clients, that process will make you a lot of money this year. It just will. Okay. So next question. Does anyone here know if IT engineers or civil engineers have to use executive coaches? So again, where they are on the food chain. Okay. So if they're director level, VP level, chances are most organizations today have access to executive coaches. If it's like a line engineer or more of a non-director, non-VP, maybe yes, maybe no. It all depends, quite frankly, from that perspective, Jim. So I think it's really about, best way to find this out, by the way, is Q&A your clients. If they're in organizations, hey, does your organization use coaches? Oh yeah, we have this executive. Oh, well, have you used one? Just a conversation, right? And you just don't know what's going to show up, where it's going to lead. So I would definitely recommend doing that. Works really well from there. Do a little detective work. One thing I think, and if there's questions, get them in the box so I can answer them for you before we wrap it up. One of the things I think we all have to, and I know I need to do a better job of it too, is be damn curious. Like, be curious about situations, about people, about things. Don't just, I kind of, the ego, right? Oh, I kind of know what that's like. Yeah, I don't need to know about it. Like, no, hey man, tell me more about that. Like, you just don't know where that conversation is going to lead, right? You want to know. Ultimately, let's remember this. I'm fine with, look, my personal clients, I know what other coaching programs they're involved with. I know if they're doing this, I know that. And it's not that, and by the way, I used to not care or not want to know because it would be my ego. I want to know who's influencing them. Like my personal clients, I want to know what other coaches are influencing you, so I can make sure we collaborate. We're not going to have we're not going to have conflict, right? Things like that. I think each and every one of you want to know who's influencing your clients, whether it's a coach, a CPA, an attorney, a friend. You want to know. You want to know who's in the sandbox with your clients. I just think you do. Really important. Okay. So a couple things real quick. All of you saw last week, I think it was. So we're watching now who's playing. And one of the things that we got very clear on in our core program, we're not going to have 1,000 advisors in core. So, we're going to limit it to probably 200 to 250, and that's it. Because I've got other projects I'm working on, and I want to keep standards high. So make sure if you're here as part of this community that you play. If you're doing Magellan Power Hour, what's one of the things? 15 to 30 minutes quiet time. What's next? After quiet time, morning video. Right there, part of the cadence, okay? No reason to miss it, okay? Last thing, then we'll get you out of here. If you're involved in M5, M7, M6, meetings start next week, so you'll get a notification on that. Alpha and Bravo, information on our winter meetings will be coming up, and just be aware of that. That'll be in Winter Park, Florida, so it'll be nice end of February for that. And other than that, any questions, please reach out. We will get this posted. Nice dog, by the way, Pete. I should have my four on the bench in the back. That'd been fun. Last thing, Happy New Year. And thank you for giving me the privilege, opportunity to work with you, to serve you, to collaborate with you. I got very clear. This is my 30th year doing this, February 15th. So I appreciate you and everyone you taking the time to be here today, and hopefully added some value to your world. And with that, let the games begin. Happy 2024.
Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.